All right, everyone, this is 6.2 Properties of Parallelograms. Okay, you're due now. It says, what is the sum of the interior angles of an 18-gon? Well, remember, your formula would be n minus 2 times 180. And what is the measure of each exterior angle? Remember, that's 360 over n. So in the top question, your n is 18. In the bottom, your n is 19. And all you have to do is plug in. So 18 minus 2 times 180. Okay, if you type that in your calculator, or if you subtract, right, we would get 16 times 180, which is 2,880 degrees. Over here we have 360 divided by 19, and if you type that in your calculator, it equals about 18.94 degrees. Okay, a lot of terms today. Your first term is going to be a parallelogram. That's a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel, right, as it is in the word. Feel free to pause for your definitions, okay? Opposite sides are sides that do not share a vertex. A vertex is a corner, a turning point, okay? Opposite angles are angles that do not share a side. Okay, so opposite sides would be like A, B, and C, D, and opposite angles would be angle C and angle A. Okay, opposite. Theorem 6-3. If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite sides are congruent. So if we're given A, B, C, D, knowing that it's a parallelogram, this is the symbol, then we know that AB is congruent to CD and that BC is congruent to DA. Okay, opposite sides are congruent in parallelograms. The next theorem is if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its consecutive angles are supplementary. Well, you need to know what consecutive angles are. They're angles of a polygon that share a side, okay? So your first example would be that angle A and angle B are consecutive angles. They're supplementary. They add up to 180. Angle B and angle C are consecutive angles. Angle C and angle D, and angle D and angle A are all supplementary. What is the measure of angle P? Well, they give us this shape here. I'm going to recreate it. Okay, we have P, Q, R, and S. And they say that angle S is 64 degrees. They want to know what is the measure of angle P. Well, we just said on the last page that those would be consecutive angles. So angle P plus angle S equal 180. Angle P we labeled as X plus angle S is 64 equals 180. Subtract 64 on both sides, and X equals 180 minus 64. And go ahead and type that in your calculator, and you get 116 degrees. Now, this bottom question says, suppose you adjust the lamp, and the parallelogram changes size, and angle S becomes 86 degrees. Well, what would happen then? If I recreate the shape, and we said that this time angle S is 86 degrees. Well, all that's really going to change is the way we set up our equation. Angle P would still be X. Angle S is now 86, and that equals 180. So subtract the 86 on both sides, and X equals 180 minus 86. You type that in your calculator, and you're going to get 94 degrees. Okay. Your last theorem for today is if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its opposite angles are congruent. Okay, so if you have your parallelogram, that means angle A is congruent to angle C. Notice they did it in orange. And angle B is congruent to angle D. They showed that with congruency in blue. Okay. So number 5, it says using theorem 6-3 and 6-4 and 6-5. Go back if you need to. Okay. Label two pairs of congruent sides. Well, we know that opposite sides are congruent. So AB is going to be congruent to CD. And BC is going to be congruent to AD. It says label four pairs of consecutive angles. Well, if you go in a row, you have angle A and angle B. If you go around, angle B and angle C. Whoops. Angle C and angle D. And then angle D and angle A. Label two pairs of congruent angles. Well, we said that in the last one. Opposite angles are congruent. So angle A must be congruent to angle C. And angle D must be congruent to angle B. All right, for your exit slip, they want you to use the diagram of the parallelogram ABCD to find each value. What is the measure of angle A? We got to find the measure of angle A. We need to find the measure of angle D. We need to find the value of X. And we need to find the length of AB. Okay, so go ahead and give that a shot. You're going to have to do a few different things using your 3 new theorems. Okay, these theorems will help you. Okay, for example, the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B, those two are consecutive. Okay, so we get angle A plus 127 needs to equal 180. Subtract 127 on both sides. And angle A is equal to 180 minus 127, which is 53 degrees. So there's your first one. With that, you can find the measure of angle D, okay, and go from there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to submit.